Peace and blessings, everybody. This is yours truly, K, aka Sihr. But I am creating this video today for those who may be experiencing paternity fraud, and I'm going to explain what paternity fraud is. I'm not going to do a lot of examples, but what is paternity fraud? Paternity fraud in North Carolina is the merit of a child support fraud claim. Specifically regarding paternity fraud is defined by whether a court finds that a parent used a false, duress, or misrepresentation to cause a person to believe that they were the biological father. So I'll give you one example, just one this time. Imagine if you go to lab court because you wanted to find out was a child yours, but the other parent disregarded it and ignored it and did not even go to lab court to prove DNA biologically that you were the father or the mother, and you paid your hard-earned money. You paid $500 just for that person to show up. That is an example of paternity fraud and basically actus reus. And if the merit is proven, the court may set aside paternity order and relieve the obligator of future support obligations. So let's scroll down. Key legal definitions and elements. Definition of fraud in paternity cases according to NCGS statute 50 through 13.13 and statute 110 through 132. The court must determine if the paternity order was entered as a result of fraudulent misrepresentation by the mother, which caused the putative father to believe that he was the biological father. Burden of proof. The burden of proof in any situation, in any motion to set aside an order of paternity based on fraud, lies, with the moving party, the person claiming fraud. So burden of proof in any motion to set aside an order of paternity based on fraud and lies with the moving party, which is considered as the person claiming fraud. So consequences of proven fraud. If the court finds merit in the fraud claim, genetic tests establish the putative father is not the biological father. So imagine somebody is skipping, actually not trying to get a DNA test, that is automatically guilty. And the court may set aside the order of paternity, order the mother to reimburse child support amounts after the motion was filed. Like when I had went to the court date January 21st of 2025 and won my case from actus reus, basically. And what is actus reus? That's basically somebody voluntarily and had the physical means to commit a crime. And the material fact component, fraud often involves willingly, like willfully, knowingly, like intentionally, with intent to deceive, making a false statement, or failing to disclose material fact. Like to the point, say if somebody had filed a complaint about you falsely hitting this person, and they try to get a court warrant for your arrest for domestic violence, but come to find out in court this wasn't true. This is indeed willfully and knowingly with the intent to deceive, making a false statement, or failing to disclose a material fact and not a material lie. You see? Okay. And related to legal texts in NCGS statute 110 through 107, child care subsidies. If the fraud involving or receiving child care subsidies, it is defined as a false statement or omission of a material fact made with the intent to deceive. So if the subsidy is or was $1,000, it is a class 1 misdemeanor, by the way. If the subsidy is less than or greater than $1,000, it can be classified as a class 1 felony for using the fraud information and submitting false information to obtain or receive child care subsidies. Let's get that understood. So it is a crime. Time limits and procedures. Rule 60 Column B. Rule 60, column B. A motion to set aside as a judgment due to fraud, misrepresentation, or other misconduct of an adverse party can be filed under NC Rules of Civil Procedure 60, column B, 3. Long story short, always submit the correct information on the documents to get the right results. Like, prime example, how would you feel if you had made a mistake and submitted your wrong direct deposit information to your job, and you had to wait a whole week just to get your income? So never just submit stuff based off false information, because you're going to get the wrong results and false results. So with that being said, the case is closed. It's obviously fraud.